Hey makeup friends, today we're going to be talking about the new mini Love palette from Natasha Denona. I'm going to show you some swatches, show you how I created this eye look, and give you my overall thoughts. So let's get into this. Alright, before we get into the video, I want to welcome you back to my channel, or if you are new here, then hello and welcome. My name is Kara, and on my channel we like to mix beauty, brains, and the occasional F-bomb. Like I said, today we're going to be talking about the mini Love palette from Natasha Denona. So this is the only item that I purchased from the collection. There was a lipstick as well as a cheek duo, but the cheek duo looked like it contained a really strong pink shifting highlighter, which I don't find to be very flattering on my skin tone. As well, the cream blush that was contained in that duo I already have in her larger face palette, this one here, so I didn't feel the need to purchase the duo. As well, with the lipstick, it looked very similar to the lipstick that I'm wearing right now, which is also from Natasha Denona. It's the shade Sava, number 21P. And so because it looked fairly similar, I didn't really want to go ahead and purchase that one either, so I just stuck to the eyeshadow palette. Now, let's talk really quickly about this palette. So this one came out last year. This is the full-sized Love palette. And so the concern, of course, when there is a full size is that the mini is just going to be a smaller version of this and pulls shades directly from the larger palette. And while there is at least one that looks fairly similar, I will say that this is bringing something new to the Love table. That's a really weird way of saying it, but you get what I'm saying. I will do some swatch comparisons, but first I just want to give you a bit of information on the palette before we get into that. So it does retail for $33 Canadian on the Sephora website. It was available for like early release on the Natasha Denona website itself, and I know it retailed for $25 US through her site, but at that time at least, the shipping to Canada was $20 US. And I was not about to spend $45 for a $25 palette. So hence I waited until it hit Sephora, and that's where I ordered it from. So like I said, it's $33, and it says that it's a collection of irresistible, ultra pigmented pink and purple toned eyeshadows inspired by the Love palette and perfect for Valentine's Day. It's free of parabens, and it's also cruelty free. It says that it provides maximum color payoff with minimal effort, blending seamlessly to achieve vibrant, ultra-pigmented, long-lasting looks. Its compact size is perfect for traveling, allowing you to complete a whole look on the go. So that is the information available on the Sephora website. So I did film my eye look today, but for right now, why don't we just do a few comparison swatches, and then I will show you the actual swatches of this palette. All right, we're going to do them in batches. So there's just two right here, and then we'll do the other three in a moment. Go ahead and ignore this wound. I don't know what's going on. I'm allergic, I think, to the watch band. I thought it was the metal, but I think it's the actual silicone in the watch band, and my skin's not happy about it. Okay, so this shade here is the shade Lifetime from the Full Size Love palette, and this one is the shade You from the mini. So as you can see, they really are quite different. Likewise, these two over here, this was the closest shade I could find in the full-size palette to this, and they're not even remotely close. So this is the shade Intense, and this one is the shade R from the mini palette. So at least with those two, while there are some similarities here, I think they are definitely different in terms of their intensity, and in terms of the actual shift to them. This one is far more pink from the mini palette, whereas this one has more of like a bronzy element to it. In looking at the really deep purples, these two come from the full-size palette. This is the shade Commitment, and this is the shade Trust. And then this one's from the mini palette, and that's the shade R. You can see they are very similar in terms of their tones, these two in particular, but this is a satin finish, whereas this is matte. This one in the middle, I think, is a little bit more on the grape side of things, whereas the matte from the mini palette is a little bit deeper and richer in tone. So while there are similarities in the deep purples, I really don't think that they are dupes of one another. All right, and then we've got the last two comparison sets here. So this is from the full-size palette in the shade Transparent, And then this one from the mini is the shade True. Over here we have the shade Giving, followed by Love from the mini palette. And again, there are similarities, but there's also very distinct differences as well. This one has a lot more pink to it, whereas this one is a lot paler in comparison. And this one here, this has more of like that goldish peach kind of shift going on, whereas this one is much more strongly just like monochrome of a pink color. This one is more duochrome. So again, there's definitely similar shades, but I don't think if you have one that it necessarily excludes the need for the other. I don't think there's so much overlap that they're interchangeable with each other, if that makes sense. Frankly, I really like what they've done here because I love the color story of the full-size Love palette, but I also really enjoy the fact that this one kind of fills the gaps that are missing from here and plays really nicely with that color story while still standing alone on its own and not just being re-promoted shades. So I really appreciate that. Okay, so now that we've done comparison, let me go ahead and just swatch this whole palette just on its own so you can see it all together, and I'll walk you through the shades. All right, reading the shades from left to right in the palette, it says, "You are my true love." That's what the shade names spell out. But when I swatched them, I grouped them by the shimmer shadows followed by the matte shadows. So they're going to be a little bit out of order, and that's frankly okay. All right, so full disclosure, I was going to just use the shade descriptions that are on the Sephora website, but I'm pretty sure they're all wrong. It says that You, which is this first shimmery shadow in the pan, is a matte mauvey rose gold, and it's most definitely not matte. So, all right, I'm not sure what they're doing here. It even says that this one is a metallic aubergine, which again, it's matte. So don't trust the Sephora descriptions on this one because they're wildly wrong. All right, so I will try to piece them together as best I can. So the first shade then is the shade True, and that is going to be a matte icy pastel pink. The next one that I've swatched is the shade Love, and this is a metallic kind of pink. Then I've gone in with the shade You, and that is a mauvey rose gold with a metallic finish. Then I've gone in with the shade R, and that is like a matte, sort of dusty lilac, I guess is how I would describe it. And then the last shade there is a matte deep aubergine purple. Okay, so now that we've done comparisons and done some swatches, let's get into this eye look.
I've realized
Alright, so now with the eye look done, I'm just going to give you some last minute thoughts on this. I'm really impressed with the quality of this mini. I had no issues blending out the mattes. The shimmers are beautiful, although they certainly do stand to have some help from a setting spray. Even without that, they still are pretty on the eyes, but for my own personal preferences, I do like a little bit more punch with my metallic shadows, and that's where the setting spray comes into play. But overall, I love the color story that's going on here. I think that this is a very approachable and user-friendly palette just on its own. I think it does lend itself to some amount of creativity, considering that there are only 5 shades, but I think that the choice of mattes versus shimmers in this color story are really smart. I don't find that anything is really missing in here, and I just overall love these kind of tones. Personally, I find that they're very flattering on my eyes, but they're also just colors that I really like. So while this is designed for like a Valentine's Day release, they're certainly not shades that I would only tie to that occasion. These are shades that can carry you through summer and fall and winter and spring, no problems. I think it's really, really pretty. I think for the $33 price point, it is a fair deal, considering you are getting 5 shades and that they perform as nicely as they do. So there you have it, guys. Those are my thoughts on the mini Love palette from Natasha Denona. I'd love to hear from you down below if this is one that you are going to pick up or if it's one that you're going to give a pass to. But at any rate, I am going to wrap it up here. So thank you very much for taking the time to watch, and I will see you in my next video. Until then, just be a decent human being. Bye for now.